What's going on, guys? So I'm back with another Sunday watch list. As always, we start off with SPY, and this is my overview for the week, right? So right now I'm on the weekly time frame, and as you guys can see, this level, which is up here at 431.48, you guys can see that is a huge resistance, which is stopping us from going higher. But once we break that level, we literally have nothing but room up to really like 450. Of course, there's going to be resistances in between, probably like this 440 level, but so on. As long as we can get a clean break it hold above this 432, we should have room up to 435, 440, and this 450 area. So those are going to be levels to pay attention to the upside if we get strong. I want you guys to see the reaction that we got off that level on Friday, right? So you guys can see how that's a big resistance. Even from August, we get rejected pretty aggressive from that area. Really, it's like a whole zone, 430 to 431. This 430 is a big resistance as well. And notice how on Friday we broke above 430 and we were able to hold above it. As you guys can see, let me update 430. It's around this area. This is a trade I took from Friday. We broke 430, which is a key level we've been failing to break, came back, retested, and we got to move up to the next resistance, which was basically like that 432, 431.7 area. So that's the reason why we got shorted. Look at the reaction. We got rejected from that area. It came all the way back down to these areas. And that is from the resistance that we have from back here in August. So this level up here is a level that we have to get above. This 431.7 to 432 area. If we can get a clean break and retest of that, I will be looking to buy calls into 435. If we do not, so this is the other scenarios we could get, right? We have a demand zone down here near 426, and we had a big resistance supply zone from 430 to 429. So that was a range we were in all of last week until we got a break of it on Friday. But if we do happen to break back below this supply zone, then we can go short into 426, where we could potentially take a bounce. If there's any type of weakness on the way down, we can try to go back long. Or if it just gets super aggressive and we break below 426, I'll be watching for a break and retest down into 425 and 423. 425 and 423. Those are the levels to the downside. That way we're prepared, right? Anything in between the range, I'm not too interested. I'm interested break and retest above 432, break and retest below 426, or if we show weakness and get below 430 and show weakness, like some type of rejections of 430, we can short it into 426. Multiple scenarios, that's how you kind of have to be prepared. That's how you come up with a game plan, be prepared for the next market day, right? Let's go over Qs real quick. Qs, as you guys can see, let's go to the Q chart. This 357 level here is a gap fill up to 360. Been talking about this for a while, but as you guys can see, that is the gap fill up to 360. And we've been failing to get a clean break and hold above this 357. Let's mark the exact level, just to be exact, right? Really like that at 357.50. Every time we come up to it, we get rejected. If I go to the 5-minute chart, you guys will see it a lot more clearly, right? So we know this is a supply zone. And then every time we come in here, sellers step in and they push it back down to like this mid-level, which is around this area. Notice how we get rejected here, and we bounce in here. Like kind of like this is a mid-range area. Over the 15-minute time frame, you guys will see more clearly. We get rejected here, we bounce, rejected here, bounce over here. And that is the mid-range level. For the downside, this is the main demand zone, which is going to be this 348 to like 346 area. That is going to be the main demand zone. So if we break below the mid-range level, which is this 354, 353, we definitely have room down to 340, 350, and the demand zone down here. So we want to see how we react down here if we do get back down here, Or if we can get a clean break and retest of that 357, then I'll be going long into the gap fill at 360, right? That is going to be my main watch for QQQ. Weekly candles don't look too bad. We are a bit extended, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get some type of pullback. This daily candle did get rejected off that level. For the most part, though, we do have a lot of economic data this week. We have a lot of things coming up. We have CPI Tuesday. We have PPI on Wednesday and FOMC on Wednesday. It's going to be a pretty risk off week for me until we get unless I see some really good setups, then I'll throw some size on. But for the most part, gonna be risk off, trying to see what kind of sentiment we get off of these things coming up. Jobless claims Thursday. So it's important. I wouldn't swing from Tuesday to Wednesday. Definitely would not swing from Tuesday to Wednesday just because of FOMC. And usually before a big catalyst like this, implied volatility on your contracts start to rise. And usually the day before could be choppy. So going to be keeping all that into mind. As far as individual tickers, I like Microsoft. Microsoft on the weekly time frame, we're approaching all-time highs up here around this 349 to 344 area. Big resistances rejected a bit early, and we're pulling back to the previous structure, which was here at 316 to 350 to 314. 316, 314. That is going to be my main watch for a bounce on Microsoft. There's a lot of confluence in that area as well. If I go from a recent low on the fib to the recent high, we have a Fibonacci retracement here, the 382 retracement, the weekly 9 EMA at that previous supply structure. So if we get any type of pullback into this area, I will definitely be looking at calls for Microsoft, and we can swing this back up to all-time high. So that would be a pretty big play to pay attention to if that does end up playing out. The next setup I'm watching is on Tesla. As you guys can see, Tesla's been one of the strongest names in the market for the past week or two. And we got a huge move up last Thursday and Friday, push back up to 250. If I go to this weekly chart, you guys can see we broke out of this weekly flag from last week's watch list, and we're pushing back up to this 260 area, and really nothing but room back up into 295, 300s. But of course, we need a pullback. And on this 4-hour chart, I'm really liking this 238 area, 237 to 240 area for a potential bounce. This also flagging out here. This is a bull flag. So we can get any type of pullback into this 237, which was the high of the previous structure. That would be a clean retest of it. We have a gap fill down into that. So I wouldn't be surprised if it comes and fills it down to 237. Another area would be 230 to pay attention to. This 230 area seems to hold up very well as well. Anywhere in between this 237, 230. Preferably, I like the 237 area, so I'm going to be watching price action to see where we slow down. And where we have more confluence is the 237 area, the 240 area. So I want to see how that area holds up on coming into this week. Got a nice flag, and then let's see if it gets picked up and we can catch a push back up to the recent highs at 252. And then a push up to 260. So that's what I'll be watching on Tesla. Meta is another one that I do like. Right, we're inside of this gap fill. If I go to the weekly chart, of course, we were extended. So we needed some type of pullback. We consolidated for a week, right? But this area down here, this is a demand zone. This 253 to, right, this 253 area down here. This is a demand zone. All the way from back here, if I go to the 4-hour chart, you guys will see why this is a demand zone, because we hold up so many times back here, and it's a big zone. So we can narrow it down to like 256 to 254, 253. Right, we got to narrow it down so we can try to pinpoint the exact areas where buyers step in. And I'm starting to see this is where they step in, right? It's 253 to 256 area. So if we can hold up this area this week, we can get a push down into this zone down here. I'll definitely be interested in swinging some meta calls with stop losses below. And we can get a push back up to 276 and 290 to fill the remaining of the gap fill. We just need pullbacks, this still looks like a great setup. Meta is still strong overall, and the overall target is still 290. So we can get that pullback into that area. I'll be going long into that area. There's gonna be some of the main watches I'm watching for this week. Don't want to make this video too long. SPY, Qs, Tesla, and Meta. AMD and Nvidia. I think Nvidia still looks strong, but we got to see how these areas pull back. Amazon's looking a bit weaker. Apple's near all-time highs. I'd be looking for a break and retest of this supply zone again, really. This 183 area for a push back into highs. That could be a good play. Netflix from last week's watch list played out perfectly. Yeah, Netflix is looking really, really strong. It has nothing but room into 450s, really. So keep an eye on Netflix. Pullbacks into 405. I'll be interested. Pullbacks into 405, even like this 415 area. Netflix looks really, really strong. Yeah, so those are gonna be some of the things that I'm watching coming into this week. I hope you guys have a great trading week. Be aware of all the economic data. Trade safe. So I hope you guys enjoy this video.